welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a fabulous day. Before we get into this video, if you are new to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you won't miss my next video. And also be sure to follow me over on my social media sites. I will link them below so you guys can come hang out with me and let's chat. Alright, so I'm so excited about today's video because I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I made my lace frontal look realistic. I'm going to be sharing with you how I bleach, sew it down, also how I trim the lace frontal to fit my hairline. There's not many people sharing with you how to measure it out for your head because sometimes they don't come sized right. And also how to tweeze the hairline so it can look more natural. And you guys can kind of get the result that you've seen in this picture here when I wore my last lace frontal. This frontal and this hair today is not the same hair that was in my previous video. These hair extensions and frontal comes from Bele hair on Aliexpress. I will link them down below in the description box just in case you're interested. Today I will be using this frontal to share with you guys all the steps I take to make my frontals look realistic and also to get them just to, you know, look nice. So I really like this frontal and this hair. I will be talking more about frontals later on in the video. I will be sharing with you guys some tips, and I also will be sharing some information about this hair because I really want to talk to you guys about this hair later in the video. So if you want to see all of that, make sure you keep on watching and let's jump right into this. So jumping right into this is the frontal I will be using for today's tutorial. This comes from Bele hair on Aliexpress and it is a wavy frontal. It's kind of similar to my last one. As you can see, the knots are not bleached, and this is how the length of the frontal looks. It's pretty long. I'm going to share with you guys today how to customize this frontal and get it to look just as natural as my last frontal did in the previous video. Step one, I like to bleach the knots on the frontal before I do anything to it. So that's what I'm doing here, and when I apply my bleach, I make sure to do it in small sections to get every single knot that I possibly can. So how big your knots are on your frontal will affect the way your results turn out. So you want to make sure whatever frontal you're getting, the knots are really small. Now step two, what I like to do now is trim my frontal to fit my hairline, because as you can see, this frontal is super long, like it goes way past my ears. So what I would do is line up the hairline and then take these wig pins and measure the frontal from ear to ear, and wherever it stops at the top of my ear, that's where I will place the pins. Also on my wig cap, I lined where my ear stops, you know, on the cap along with my hairline where my natural hairline stops, so that I know how much space to leave when I sew it down. Now I will take those wig pins and put it in the areas where I marked on the cap where my ear stops, and this will help you to know how much of the lace to cut off, and it works so well because you have already measured it out to meet your hairline and the length of your hairline. Now what I'm going to do is part a section, the section that needs to be cut, that's just extra. Before you start cutting, make sure you actually line the hairline up where it's, you know, going to be the forehead area, the side area, the sideburns, all of that. Make sure it's lined up perfectly. And as you can see, I cut off that much. My next step will be to sew the frontal onto a cap. As you guys know, I like to create wigs instead of doing installs because I feel like I switch up my hair a lot, so it's better for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew this frontal down on the cap, and what I'm doing is starting on the sides and then I'm going to work my way around the cap. Now in the front of your cap, make sure you leave like a ½ inch of space so that you won't end up putting the wig on and then your frontal be too far back and it don't cover your hairline. So leave like a ½ inch from where your natural hairline is, where you marked on the cap, so that the frontal will fit perfectly. While we're talking about the wig, let's talk about the hair I will be using. This hair is from Bele hair on Aliexpress. This is their virgin Brazilian hair. That's how it looks before it's washed, and this is how the bundles look after it's washed. Make sure you stay tuned because I'm going to be talking about this hair later on in the video. Alright, so now that everything is customized and I cut the lengths. As you can see, the frontal now fits from ear to ear perfectly, and it's not as long as it was, which is so helpful. So I hope this is very helpful to you guys, just in case you get a frontal and it's super long and you don't know what to do with it. This works wonders. So step 4 would be to sew down the hair. So now what I like to do is go ahead and sew the hair onto the cap, and as you can see, the frontal is already installed onto the cap. So I just do the same technique that I did in my last wig making tutorial. Once it's done, as you can see, the hair is mostly in the back because the frontal takes up most. I only use three and a half bundles. I cannot never get more than 3 bundles. So the wefting on this hair was so easy to work with. I cannot stand when I get hard, thick wefts. These wefts were not like that, and that's how much hair I had left. So now step 6 will be to tweeze the hairline. This is where it gets technical, you guys. Make sure you have a good pair of tweezers. That's really good. So now I like to begin just tweezing hairs out of the front of the hairline, and the way I like to do it usually is on my head, but for this tutorial I'm going to do it on a mannequin head. And don't cut the lace in the front before you do this, because if you do, you could end up making the lace fray, and you don't want that. So I'm just plucking individual hairs. This was a 3-hour process for me, you guys, and I still feel like it still can be tweaked a little bit more. So definitely take your time. I would not recommend using scissors or anything like that, because it's not going to give a natural effect as much as the tweezers would. And even though it takes a little time, the end result is so much better. So I like to do the same thing around the top of the hairline. What I usually like to do is start like at the front area where the baby hairs is, and I would begin tweezing those. And that area is the most important. You don't want to take out too much, but you don't want to take out too little either. Just depending on how thick your frontal is, you really might not have to do this, but if you are like me and get a frontal that's a little bit dense, you do have to kind of go past the hairline and move it back a little bit and start tweezing. Otherwise it's just not going to look like it's doing anything. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and finish this up.
If you guys found that tutorial very helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. So now I just want to tell you guys a little bit about the hair feature in today's video. This hair is from Bele hair on Aliexpress. I have 3 bundles and 1 frontal. This frontal is a little bit different from the frontal that you guys seen in my last video. I find that this one has more of a blunt hairline. I did find it just a little bit more complicated to tweak this one. I literally spent a whole day putting this wig together. This is a full wig. And I have to say, even though the hairline isn't like my last one, I can say that it is a great hairline. I do find that it looks really natural. And it's really nice. I really do like it. I did have to do a whole lot more tweaking than you guys see in the video. I had to tweak this one more than my last frontal because this was really dense. So the hair that I'm using today is really pretty. It's their Brazilian hair, and I have 20, 22, and 24 inch, and it looks like this. And it's really pretty. I did use flexi rods to put some curls into this. It is a beautiful natural wavy texture. I will insert a clip right here so you guys can see the natural texture of the wig. Now I will tell you guys this, I do have to go back and tweak this frontal a little bit more than what you've seen. And yes, I spent 3 hours tweezing hairs out of this, but I feel like I do need to tweeze it just a little bit more. And I did bleach the knots a second time. Also, I do notice that the knots didn't bleach like my last frontal. I feel like the lace color is a little bit too dark for my complexion. So when you go to get your frontals, it's 2 things you should pay attention to: the lace color and also the length of the frontal. Now all of the lengths come really long for some reason. This frontal I did have to cut off So this frontal, I did have to cut off a few inches of it to get it to match my hair from ear to ear. So if you do happen to get a frontal that's really long, then this video share with you guys how to actually measure it out and everything. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will put links to this hair from Bele Hair on Aliexpress down in the description box. As far as the frontal that I used in my last video, I will share that with you guys very, very soon. Just be patient, and I will see you guys back for another video. Bye.